The powers of alchemy.
What's going on, family? Y'all know what it is. It's your man Frank coming to y'all live and direct with another edition of View from the Man Cave. So welcome to View from the Man Cave, a place for honest, intellectual, and informative dialogue and discourse about all things related to masculinity and manhood, responsibility and respect, provision and protection. So let's talk about it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. All right, y'all, it's another Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what it is. You know who it is. You know what it's about, your man Frank. So today on the show, I have a very distinguished guest. This brother has been doing his thing, from what I've seen, in these social media streets for a minute. He's been doing a lot of things that, I've seen from afar. I've been very proud of. I have for this brother. So I wanted to bring him on the show. And we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about why in a second, but he's been doing a lot of good things. And so I've been seeing it, and I reached out to him to kind of ask him some questions about it. And he said, you know what? I would love to come on your show and kind of break it down and let the people know what's good, let you know what's good. So I said, absolutely. Say less. So he's here. My brother Tom Terry III. What's good? What's popping?
What's good? What's good, family? Appreciate the introduction, man. It's an honor and a privilege to speak with you live. So thank you.
Absolutely. Me and this brother, man, we've been kind of going back and forth for a while. I've seen him. I have no idea how long we've been following each other on social media, but it's been a while. I seen him. We have a lot of similar interests and, similar people that we're influenced by. So it was only a matter of time that I was going to have this brother on the show to just, pick his brain, see where he's been, and most importantly, see where the brother's going. So we're going to get right into it. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Well, actually, I did want to talk about something. So I did see in the news today, that Johnson & Johnson is stopping their COVID shots. I did see that, they've been having some issues with that, some blood clots and things like that. So people, I think it was about 6 people so far has been documented that I saw. I think the brother Jason Black put it out. But so they're stopping that. So it is what it is. Just be careful. I'm not going to tell you what to do. We're all grown out here in these streets. If you feel led to take the shot, you can do that. There are risks with everything, but just be careful, man. People are dying. Our brother DMX just passed away. Legendary artist in the hip hop game. Allegedly he had COVID too, and he took the vaccination, right before he passed away. So I'm not saying that's what got our brother up out of here. Obviously he had some other situations, some other things that he was going through in his personal life, dealing with substance abuse, but just be careful, man. I'm kind of hesitant about things like that. So I know a lot of us are too. So just be mindful of what you're taking and what you're getting yourself into when you get, when you line up with these things. So it is what it is. But so we're gonna get right into it, man. I'm gonna rally my bro some questions. We're gonna talk about it. Put in the chat. Thank y'all for pulling up. You could chime in here and there if you have any questions for my brother, for myself. I'll definitely put them up on the screen, and we'll try to answer those as much as we can. So T, just for the folks who are listening who don't know you, who haven't come into contact with you that much, on Instagram or Facebook and things like that. Just let the people know a little bit about yourself. Who, where you at, what you're doing right now and what you aspire to do in the future.
All right. Yeah, my name is Tom Terry III. That's my government name, but on the internet, I'm called B1BJ. That's the name I came up with about 3 years ago. The BJ part, family members, loved ones always call me that because that's named after my father's buddy, hence Buddy Jr., me. But you know how we do. I got to sauce it up just a little bit. So I put B1 in front of it. You know what I'm saying? B, hence the word B1BJ. So, it was kind of funny because people was clowning that was like that Star Wars R2D2. And I was like, no, it's not that. It's B1BJ, so y'all know what it is. For those who know, already knew what it was, so they got it. So to me, it just stuck with me. So I've just been rolling with that ever since. The second part is what I'm about, what I've been doing. So basically, I'm basically from Atlanta, Georgia, bro. I'm one of the few AT aliens. I call it the real one because I've been here before '96. That's a big smart for me, '96. However, in my teenage years, I moved around a little bit. I think when I was 11, I stayed in South Carolina. When I was 12, I moved to South Bend, Indiana, which is about 3 hours west from Chicago. So I got a little, Midwest swag to me. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit, not a whole lot. And then I moved back down here when I was 16 years old on my own. So pretty much I've been living here in Atlanta on and off about 15 years on and off ever since, to be real with you. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's what it is, man. And I knew you were from the A. That's why I had to go get my, my Hawks throwbacks. You know what I mean? To put them up for you. You know what I mean? To represent. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
So
really,
yeah, yeah, man. I had these joints in the man cave for years when I was in. You know what I mean? I was in the army. I was stationed out there in South Korea. So this was like early 2000s. So that's when it was, crazy, the crazy throwback era. So I used to cop them joints like Frank Lucas. I used to get them wholesale, bring them back. People used to sell them in their stores and stuff like that. So I was like, yo, I got the man cave. So let me set it up. Let me start, bringing some of these joints out the shelf because I got hundreds of them, man. So I had to represent for you. And I'm on that too, man. I'm a junior. I'm originally from North Carolina. I don't know if you know that. You know what I'm saying? So, so I came up in the D because in the military, and my last duty station was at Walter Reed, Army Medical Center. And so, like, when I got out of the military, I was here in DC. So I met my wife, we got married, and, the rest is history. So I just put my flag in the ground here. So I've been here ever since. But yeah, so one of the real reasons why I've been really, inspired by this brother is because if you follow him on Facebook or even Instagram, you'll see his stories, and this brother's always working out. You know what I mean? He's always working out. He's always on his bike. He's always sweating. You know what I mean? Look like he just got out the tub. You know what I mean? This brother's always putting in work. And, he's been, for a while, he's been really, really serious and motivated, man, about getting in better shape. You know what I mean? About losing weight. And I watched this brother go from like 235 pounds all the way. I think the last story you put up, you were at like 198. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that was the last one I saw. So, that was, like one of the reasons why this brother caught my eye. We kind of been on the same, we're both in the B1 family. We're both Black first. We had that Black first mentality. But, one of the reasons why I really had a lot of love and respect and admiration for this brother is his dedication, you know what I mean, to being better on the health side, to working out, eating better, you know what I mean, losing weight. So I watched this brother literally just shrink from, over 30 pounds. So if you can, just talk to the people about, your weight loss journey, why you decided to do it, and some of the, and just talk about your journey a little bit from going to where you were to where you are right now.
Okay. Let's go back a little briefly. Cause actually, you caught me at the halfway point. I like to call my rebirth date, if you will, June 1st, 2020. June 1st of 2020, I hit the scales. A scale said at the heaviest I had ever been in life, period. I'm 6'1", mind you, 6'1", but my weight was at 260 pounds. 260 pounds on June 1st, 2020. Like, wow. So basically, when when I see myself, felt myself, I knew this wasn't quite right. Now, people were trying to say, "Oh, you look good in your weight. You 6'1", tall, da 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 da." But I knew myself because in my 20s, I was in really some good shape, like phenomenal shape. Back when I was going in college, like all I did was really went to class and then went to the gym. Literally, I was a gym rat for real. But that being said, on June 1st, 2020, I was at 260 pounds because initially I was already overweight. I was like 240, 245 ish. But over when the gyms had closed and COVID had happened, all I did was went straight to work and went straight to bed. And I ballooned 20 plus pounds from that. So when I said to myself, look, I gotta get myself back in shape. Like I don't care what it is. Look, I'm in my 30s now. I don't know what it's gonna be, what it's gonna take, but I just knew I had the mindset. I wasn't quite sure, but I knew I had to change myself. So the first thing I did was the first 30 days was I literally just try to get myself in a good routine. That's the first thing I remember. Don't do too much too soon because you know you're not at 220. You're not at that weight no more. Just get yourself in a routine and work out. So literally, I just started like crawl before you walk approach. First thing I did. Okay, I know I can't run like I did prior. So just hit the treadmill. Just get a little sweat going. Just get going. Maybe for just 20 minutes. That's it. I would go back and then be Monday. Then the 2 days later on Wednesday, I do the same thing. I walk a little bit, lift a little weights, and then chill out. Wait till Friday. Then I will do the same thing. But my point is this: I would like progressively build back up. A lot of mistakes that we get, especially guys that were in shape, they still had a mindset. They feel like, oh, I'm at 180. I can do the same thing I do at 180 at 250. No, sir. No, ma'am. That's the worst thing you do. I actually had an injury before doing too much too soon, as they would say. So I knew that going in. So it took me for about roughly like 21 to 30 days that first month to get just a routine of just hitting the weights. Let you know that's what you got to get into. So I think I seen the young lady in the chat room. I don't know if she want me to shout her out or not, but I'm gonna give her privacy. She's kind of private, but one of the homegirls, shouts out to the B1 family. She knows she is. I'm gonna put it. She knows she is. I guess she was kind of looking. She was recruiting / stalking a little bit. I'm gonna say she was stalking a little bit. So she saw me. She said, "Oh, okay. I see what you're doing out here, Tom." So basically, I got the exercise thing down pat. But the next step for me 30 days. I'm sorry. I was at from 260 to 250 in 30 days. That was cool. But the next step for me was my exercise was good, but my nutrition was trash. So she put me onto this program. She charged like $60. I would have gave her 100, but that what she wants, 60. I fronted her the 60. She said, "Look, just Tom, take heed to this program. You do exactly what I say. Not only you lose 30 pounds in 6 weeks, you lose 5% body fat at least." So I did what she said. I went on an intermittent fasting, plant-based dieting, part keto. So all of that was incorporated, which means intermittent fasting, for those who don't know, means that you only eat roughly once a day. Roughly a 12-hour window. For those who can kind of point a reference, for those who are Muslim in the family, I know they got Ramadan. Shout out to y'all. Y'all got Ramadan. That's what's happening. Bless you. So to do the Ramadan from sunup to sundown, which is roughly 12 hours, mine was a little bit longer. Mine was for an 18-hour window, which gave me a 6-hour window to really eat. So in my case, my schedule was from 10:30 to get my first meal, from 10:30 to 4:30. So I eat my first meal at 10:30. Then my second meal probably around 3:30, 4 o'clock at the latest. And after 4:30, shut it down. I would do this for like 6 weeks, 6 consecutive weeks, no meats, and still working out. Long story short, for being from 250, I think where you caught me at around that 220 range. So I had lost roughly 30 pounds. So at that point, from 260 to 220. So I lost 40 pounds at that point. And I would say thanks to her because basically she gave me like a structure. Like I'm an easy complier. Like people say it's easy said than done, but no, it was really that easy for me. She gave me a couple of things I can do. This is what I worked on and just followed the suit. I followed what she said and it worked out and some. So that's how I really got to that point. But then I would start playing with it. I said, okay, 220 is cool, but let's see if I can get back down to when I was in my 20s. So basically I went down kept being consistent, working out, lifting, running a little further. I went from 220 to 215, 215 to 210, 205. 210 to 205. Now I'm currently at 205, 200. So the lowest I've been was at 196 at one point. So basically, in essence, it took me roughly about 6 months to really get, I'll say 6, 7 months to get to this point as we see currently. Yeah, I would say that.
That's fire, bro. Like I see some questions here in the chat. I'm gonna put them up, you know what I mean, so you can kind of break it down for the people. But that's incredible. Like I said, to everybody listening, that was one of the things that caught my eye about this brother. His dedication to to living healthier, to being better, and and a lot of us out here who are on that path. I'm on that path. You know what I mean? I tell people, well, I don't know if I've spoken about it, too much on the channel, but my heaviest weight. I'm 6'4", so I'm very tall. And my heaviest weight in my life was about 320 pounds. That was the heaviest I've ever been in my life. And I wasn't really sloppy with it. I wasn't horrible with it. It kind of, for all my people back home in North Carolina, they would say, "Oh, you all right? You got a little meat on you, but you good." You know what I mean? But so it wasn't really sloppy, but I was big, and I got to a point where, I went to the doctor for a routine checkup. And my doctor was like, "Frank, you on the verge of type 2. You know what I mean? If if you don't, if you don't, do something, you're gonna be, you're gonna be on that type 2. You're gonna be taking these pills, metformin and all that." And at the time, I was in like my mid 30s. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't even. I'm not old. I'm 39 right now. But so, and that was my thing, eating a lot of sweet sodas, all that kind of stuff, snacking a lot, what I mean, eating just because, I was bored, you know what I mean? And so I was on it. So the doctor was like, "Look, if you don't stop, you really run the risk of, what I mean, of getting type 2 and getting up out of here." You saw my brother, our brother Fife Dog, Tribe Called Quest, he passed from complications of diabetes. You see my brother, our brother, Dr. Dre with Ed Lover, what I mean? He's struggling right now. He had his leg cut off. You know what I mean? He's struggling with type 2 right now. And, it's not looking good for our brother there. So I just made a decision. I was like, "Look, man, I got a wife, I got kids, you know what I'm saying? I got to do something." And so, so I hit it, and I lost a lot of weight. Like I started eating a little bit better, working out. I got from 320 to about where I'm at right now, like around 250 pounds. And then I was looking at my brother and I'm like, yo, it's like every other day he posted it in his story about his weight loss. So he losing like a pound, 2 pounds every other day. I'm like, yo, I need that. You know what I mean? Whatever he doing, I need it. So if you want to shout that sister out, I have no problems with you doing that. You know what I mean? And if people want to reach out to her, they can reach out to one of us to, reach out to you, obviously, to get that information from her if they want. But yeah, so I reached out to the brother. That was the main reason why I would reach out to him, just to let him know I was proud of him for what he was doing and to figure out what the hell he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, this brother, every time I turn around, one time he put the picture up on Monday, it's like, 210, and then Wednesday he do it, is he 207.4, and I'm like, yo, he's really, he's really doing his thing. And so when I asked him about it, he was like, yo, just I'll come up on the show and let you know, kind of break it down what I've been doing. So I just want to say that, in front of everybody, man, keep going. I mean, I don't think you're too far off from your goal weight where you want to be, but just keep going, man. You're an inspiration, man. You know what I mean? Like I look at this brother's consistent. I don't care. I wake up, I got my wife, I got the kids, you know what I mean? Regardless of what this brother's doing, this brother he's in the gym. He's on the bike. You know what I mean? I don't care. Rain, sleet, snow, holiday, work day, whatever. You know what I mean? This like clockwork. If you follow this brother on the book, on the gram, you see his story pop up. He's in the gym. He's sweating every day, consistently. So I just want to know, I just want to let the people know that there are brothers out here, who are committed, to being healthier, being better men, living healthier lives. I know my brother Chris was in here earlier. Shout out to Chris, my brother Chris on the super chat, that he brought through. This is another brother, young brother, went through the same things. He was, had a little weight on him, and, he got serious about his weight loss. His brother, built like a bodybuilder, man. He built like an NFL player right now, just being committed to the gym, doing his thing. So absolutely, man. So I'm proud of you for that. And if you want to plug that sister in, or if anybody wants to know who that sister is or whatever, just reach out to my man T, Facebook, whatever. He can slide the information to you. You know what I mean? If you don't feel comfortable broadcasting it to everybody, just reach out to him. He can slide you the information and get you on point.
I do that. To be fair, I would like to talk to her because she's kind
Right.
of semi-private. So I need to see if it's cool with her first before I.
Right. Of course. Yeah. I'm not out here to put anybody in a spot they don't want to be in. So my bro T, he's gonna talk to whoever he needs to talk to. If it's good, y'all reach out anyway. Say, hey, what's up? I need that info. He's gonna do what he has to do on his end, and then if everything's kosher, then he'll slide that information to you. You know what I mean? Everybody's good to go with that. Absolutely.
Yes.
So me and my bro, man, we're in this B1 movement, man. We're black first. That's our mentality. That's how we move. It affects our lives, what we read, how we live, what we post, what we comment on, all that kind of stuff, man. So I just want you to talk about, initially, how did you get into the movement? How did you get into that Black One movement, that Black First movement, that B1 movement? How has it affected your life since you've been in it?
It's changed my life for the better, constructively. I would have to say, in the words of needed for it's been very constructive. For me, it's always been a situation when it comes to, I guess, I'm gonna say in regards to racism, white supremacy, has always affected me as a little boy. Ever since I was able to go to public school and deal with society, in particular with the dominant society. I remember situations where I was being mistreated by these so-called white female teachers and things of that sort. I personally don't want to get into details about it because that can be a situation, like I said, it's still a little trauma I still kind of deal with. But in regards to that, like in recent, how Black little boys and little girls get mistreated by their white teachers you hear across the country, it's like an example of that. So I feel that. So to answer your question, how did I get into it per se? I would say the moment to break it on down was really the Trayvon Martin situation, George Zimmerman case, in 2013 when that first popped off, and you really come to find out that fool actually got out by killing that little boy like that for doing the same thing that Trayvon Martin I used to do for my little brother, go to the little corner store to pick up what he needed for snacks to watch, whether it be in my day, I think we're the same age. We used to watch WCW, we used to watch wrestling. You know what I'm saying? In this case, whatever he was watching to pick up his little bro, I really felt the ways about that. And you actually had people to try to justify this young boy getting murdered like that. It really made me on code. If I wasn't on code then, I was really on code at that point. And my so-called liberal white friends, it showed me their true colors as well. So it really made me understand, okay, this ain't a game. This really warfare out here. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't know everything for sure, but I just looked at everything from the context of Black empowerment. That was my main thing, because I feel like that in itself, in essence, is the truth and the justice. And that's where it's at. So that made me gravitate towards more. My biggest influence for sure had to be Tariq Nasheed, Professor Black Truth, and Jason Black, aka the Black Authority. So all of those three brothers right there really put me in a mindset. This is where I need to be. You know what I'm saying? From it's a military standpoint. You got to understand this is how war is. It's gonna be lost. It's gonna be casualty. As you know, brother, you've been out here. Unfortunately, some military cats still goofy. They don't understand that. Okay, you off the battlefield in Iraq, but you got one over here overseas. I mean, right here in your home country too. And that's the thing. So even though like I never been in the military, I understand that mindset because I had some people that served. You know what I'm saying, in that regard. Particularly my father is an Air Force vet, so I kind of get it. But really, I understand that it's a battlefield right here, and that has a lot to do with me being in shape physically, because I got to be able to fight these devils off too. If it comes down to it, I got to be in shape to do so. So that, that's how I really got into the B1 situation. It was the Black empowerment thing. It just taught me to be on code even further than I was before.
Facts. Everybody you name, man. Tariq, Jason Black, Professor Black Truth. You know what I mean? I listen to these brothers religiously. You know what I mean? And I've been listening to them for a while. When Hidden Colors popped off, you know what I mean? 7 a.m. gentrified, all of that. You know what I mean? I've been on these brothers heavy. I listen to them all the time, and I've been on it for a long time. I kind of had knowledge of self when I was probably about 13, 14 years old. And even when I was in the military, I understood that. And some of the things that I've learned from the military, I apply them to my life today. You know what I mean? We fight wars on multiple fronts. You know what I mean? And like you said about, with the Trayvon situation, that affected me too, because I understood that, we don't live in a world that's based on morals. You know what I mean? People aren't trying to be morally correct. People are trying to be on code. People are trying to preserve themselves and people who look like them. And so they move that way. So they can see a situation that happens, whether it be in Atlanta, whether it be in Minnesota, whether it be in Florida, all these situations, whether it's in LA, when they see situations like this, their first thought is not to be morally correct. Their first thought is to be on code. Regardless of what the guy did, if he was right, whatever, I'm not going to step out of bounds and be off code in order to, do the right thing. I'm not going to do that. Because I can't expect other groups of people to do that for me. And so, so that was one of the things that I learned, is that, you have to have a warrior mindset. You have to have a military mindset, understand there's a code. Regardless of what situation you're in. If I was in the military and when I was in the military, if I got kidnapped or captured or whatever, there's certain things that I can't do. There's certain things that I can't say. Regardless of the situation, regardless of my life is on the line. Only thing I can give them is my name and my rank. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I can't give you nothing else. And so it's helped me and to understand life and to understand how we have to move, as brothers and sisters who have a Black first mindset, man. It's that we have to preserve ourselves. We have to do what's best for us, and we have to always stay on code. And so that was one of the reasons why I started this channel, was because I would listen to those brothers and I would say, you know what, they're right. We got to be on code. We got to be on code, about everything, economics, family structure, fitness, all of that stuff. We have to be on code, man. We have to be prepared. Everybody's prepared. If something pops off right now, we're in the worst shape. You know what I mean? Just economically, politically, all that. So we have to start, preparing for what's inevitable. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. So I do understand it. I do live it, and it's good to see other brothers who have, who have that same mindset, man. Absolutely. So I know, I've seen some of your stuff on Facebook and on the gram. You've moved around. You've been to, some of the conferences and summits and things like that. So who, just let the people know, who are some of the most influential people that you've met? Whether it be inside or outside, the B1 family.
I just alluded to earlier. I actually had the privilege to meet Tariq Nasheed in person twice, actually. It was about 3 years ago. He actually was out here in Atlanta, him and the Ism sisters, Bree and what's her name, Layla. Cool sisters, lovely sisters. They went to some boutique somewhere in Atlanta, and they was up in the north side, so I had to go north to go see him. At the time I didn't have a ride, but I went to go see him anyway. I just had to show some love that way. So I had a photo out for them that first time. Second time I met him, I'm sorry, I met him 3 times. Second time I met him, he had the he was back then, he was doing like his book tours. I think he was doing the Code of Conduct tour back in 2015. I'm actually going a little back. I was actually to meet Brother Tariq. I took a picture, but it wasn't a good one. But I met his mom. I met his people. Real lovely people. Her mom's real sweetheart, just like my auntie and them. You know what I'm saying? Real sweet. And then the third time I met him was this past year. They had the FBA, the Foundational Black American Conference. It was right here in Atlanta, more specifically at the Georgia World Congress Center. That's where we have our big venues. It's not that far from the State Farm Arena and the Georgia Dome. Well, I'm sorry, not Georgia Dome. The Mercedes-Benz Stadium now, excuse me. So it's right around that way. So I was actually able to sit there and meet him and greet him, things like that. He always was gracious. And funny thing is, he always remembered me. That brother has a good memory for Brother's P face, because I had looked at 3 different ways. I think at the time I might have had a low cut. First time I might have had an afro, and then I had my full-fledged locks, and brother still recognized me for what I was. So brother has a good visual memory of person for sure. So he definitely may not know my name. He may not know my name, but he definitely recognized my face. So he was real cool. I didn't really have a chance to sit there and chop it up with him because he moving and shaking things of that sort. But the energy was pretty good, man. I always consider him pretty much the uncle that I never had when it comes to just how to move and shake and how to conduct yourself. And we talked about code of conduct, like things that you should be doing. One of the few things, because nowadays it seems like it's cool to be. Excuse my language. Can we curse? Okay, I'm just saying to be on some fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
To be a fuck boy, but now, like in my era, if you was like that, you was ostracized. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But now it seems like that's a cool thing to do, to be doing what you want to do with no consequences or repercussions. And people seem to gravitate more towards that as opposed to being the dude that's solid. Is that solid? What I mean by solid, for those who don't know, that means basically being honorable and a stand-up kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? You're accountable. You stand by your work. You stand by your square. And unfortunately, like I said before, there isn't a big reward in that. Unfortunately, I would say, let's say immediately. But at the same time, you once you know that's what you are, and you stay on your little square, then the people that's on that same thing, you're gonna be linking up with those people, and you can maintain those relationships in that standpoint. So basically, I learned that from Brother Tariq Nasheed. He probably definitely the most influential, because bro, I gotta say, bro actually saved my life in that regard, because I was almost lost in my 20s, bro, because I didn't really have no real compass of what it is. Because I was just, I wouldn't say I was doing no sucker shit like that, but like to find out that people actually, there's still people out there that's good and doing what they're supposed to do, and they actually get rewarded for doing what they're supposed to do, inspire you to that. Because it seems like the only way you get put on is to be a sellout or a sucker. At least that's what you see on TV, to be a black man. Hell, even back then, he was wearing dresses and skirts then. You know what I'm saying? So, so for him, he was that for me in that regard. I'll say that.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a brother. Like, I haven't been fortunate enough to meet him in person yet. You know, but like I said, I've copped everything. Hidden Colors, man. That whole series changed my life. You know what I mean? I thought, it was funny because I thought even before Hidden Colors 1 came out, I was always a brother that prided myself on knowing certain things about Black history and things like that. And then when I watched Hidden Colors, I was like, man, there's so much stuff out here I don't know. I still don't know. You know what I mean? And for him to put all those legends together, man, Dr. Phil Valentine, Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, God bless her, Shahrazad Ali, that's my sister right there. Like I actually met Shahrazad Ali. She came here, to a spot, maybe 15 minutes away from my house out here in PG County, Maryland. And she came and did a lecture, and I was out there, got a chance to see her, took some pictures with her, bought her books and all that good stuff. So that was a blessing. But, just to have all those legends, in the documentary, in that series, and just to have them just break down game like that, And, I've seen Umar a couple of times. I know they kind of fell out, But, when Umar was doing his thing, he would come here all the time. I would go over there and slide over there. And that brother, he speaks truth to power too. I don't really know what's going on with the school, but outside of the school, he was sharp. He was speaking truth to power. So I would go check him out too. And my man Tony Browder, who was in I think a couple Hidden Colors. He's out here in Washington D.C. So I would go to see him. At the Thurgood Marshall Center in DC. He would have lectures and stuff like that. Wisdom Wednesday, shout out to him. I had a chance to meet. I came to meet the brother Flex. I know what's going to happen. He'll do something here in DC or whatever. Maybe when after COVID subsides and he does something, a documentary or so, or a movie or something, he comes out here, to the premiere, and I'll catch him out there. But those individuals, man, they're very influential. I have a lot of respect for them. I've had a chance to meet a few of them, and it was an incredible experience for me, and I know it was for you. Absolutely. So, so when you met them and you got caught up, you got into the movement, you start doing your thing, you start understanding codes, code of conduct, respect, holding people accountable, being 10 toes down, being honorable, things like that. What were some of the what were some of the books that you read? What were some of the books that have influenced you the most that, that you think, in your personal opinion, that you think Black people, definitely need to have in their library?
It's funny. I would have to say of I think I read my books about 6 years ago. Back in I was in my real big reading phase in 2013, 2014, seeking knowledge in that regard. So I would have to say Brother Tariq Nasheed. I actually the Art of Mackin. I would have to say that book. When it comes to, I guess, relationship dynamics, what you're supposed to do, how to handle your business, how you conduct yourself. The thing is, it's not just a cold relationship between the opposite sex. It's also relationships in any given situation. The whole concept of being a Mac, because for a long time that was seen as a derogatory, negative, or nefarious thing, or being a player, but simply mean like being on top of the game as Black men. That's what we need to be, and that's what should be striding to. Not just in relationship areas, but all areas and activities, whether it be your relationships, business, a situation you seeking power. You're just trying to empower yourself. So I mean, you used to have that back in the day when it comes to hip hop. I don't know if you remember, but like the biggest songs I would gravitate towards was the aggressive beats and bass. But when some guys would speak, okay, how to be a Mac and how to be on top of the game, I used to really internalize that. Like, shouts out to DJ Quick, my man
Sugar Free. What you know
you know,
about Sugar Free, man?
uh,
Yeah.
any West Coast artists, I would say, what I'm saying, my man, the Bay Cats, the Short Dogs, the E40s, E Feezy, what I'm saying? Like, as a player from Atlanta, I used to rock with that, and I used to gravitate towards that. And then, to a lesser degree, my man Outkast, Big Boy Aldre, Southern Playlist of Cadillac Music. Like, it told me this is just subtle things that I had turned out that had influenced me in that standpoint. So, yeah, that also my second book. I'm gonna have to go to the economic side. Really, Dr. Claude Anderson. I really didn't know about the brother, to be honest with you. Hidden Colors put me on when I first saw the series on that. So I started doing some further research. His first book was Black Labor, White Wealth. Basically, this is the argument. This is basically the staple, because we know about the emotional, physical trauma that, I'm a foundational Black American, first and foremost. My mom's from Georgia, my dad's from Mississippi. So that means I might have a mixture of people that came to the slave ships, but my people for sure was right here already for thousands of years. So let's not get it twisted. So I'm definitely indigenous of Native American. I just been reclassified as a Negro. That being said, this is basically the blueprint, the argument for proponents for reparations from a socio-economic standpoint. You know what I'm saying? So if you really want to be tightened up and learn some game, just read this book, man. Plenty of points, for references, just cold fact numbers, just from an analytical standpoint. So this is really great for that. Also, I'm gonna have to say the part 2 for that book is the Powernomics. One of the things that actually I was trying to figure out, like, why are we so broke? I mean, we got all of this money. We trick off, like I say, trick off our money, meaning that we consume this money to nothing and we get nothing in return. And he tells us basically one of the biggest things I got out of the book, it's a lot of gems on it. But the biggest things is basically our economy basically is like the U.S. trade deficit, meaning that we basically buy in more than we sell. In our case, if you look at any quote unquote, I don't even like to say Black community because we don't have one as a group right now. Black neighborhoods or the hood, if you look at all the business fronts, it's either owned by a white man that has a Jewish man that owns the property, an Arab man that owns that little gas station, the Asian man that owns the nail salon, things like that. The only thing we might have is a Black barbershop. But our groceries and things like that, the structural from vertical, I'm talking briefly, vertical integration, things of that sort, the distribution outlets, the factories and things of that sort, we don't own any of that. So the money that we spending is going outward. It's basically being siphoned out outward to other communities that's empowering them at our expense. So he really breaks it down in that standpoint. So this was a game changer for me. So that actually led to me to say one day I want to start my own business. So guess what? The whole COVID happened and I started my own business. So in my case, I'm personally working a t-shirt company. Sports apparel company right now. So yes. So basically, those are, in a nutshell, those are the 3 books I'm gonna say right now. I've been reading some other ones, but those are the 3 ones for sure. For sure, for sure.
Yeah, my book gave y'all some gems, man. I love those books as well. I love those 3 books. I have them. I've read them. They give you an understanding of where we are and how we got here. You know what I mean? When you, especially, like, let me go back. So let me go back to Tariq, right? The Art of Mackin. His show on YouTube, when back in the day, he was doing the Mac lessons, Play or Be Played. These are books that kind of got him in the game and gave him the foundation in order to do Hidden Colors. I remember when, back in the day when, Flex, he had about 20 bands on him. He said, look, I just got this money from my books. And he told the people, he said, look, he said, I want to do a documentary about Black history because I'm tired of watching TV and seeing them distort our history, and our legacy as Black people. And so he said, look, I got 20 bands. He held it up and he said, if y'all can match this, go fund me, whatever. If y'all can match it, y'all can give me another 20 bands. I'll do Hidden Colors. And that's how Hidden Colors 1 came about. You know what I mean? So those books are incredible too, because when I was young, I was game goofy. You go back to the music, man, like you got me hype off that Bay. You know what I mean? I always had a closeness for, with pimps, you know what I mean, in my personal life, all of that, because I understand the game. And if you understand the game, you realize that you can take that game and you can apply it anywhere. It's not just, in the streets. It's not just you, dealing with, your stable or whatever. You can apply that in every aspect of your life. You know what I mean? As a player, when you look at those brothers, they're always sharp. They always look the part. They're always, they're always booted. They're confident. You know what I mean? They're not going to take no shorts off nobody. They know what they want. They know how to get it and they make it happen. And regardless of who you are, what lifestyle you live, you could benefit from some of these brothers in the game. You look at the bro, Gorgeous Dre. Andre right now, he's out of the game now. He's on the political side out there in Seattle, doing great work. But he was in the life. He was in American Pimp. He was Gorgeous Dre when he was doing this thing in the street. But there are a lot of lessons that you can take from the game and apply it. And I used to be on all that, man. I was on Quick, and I'm still on Quick, Sugar Free. Outkast is just legends. But even that first album when they were kind of more on that, like you was talking about, Do or Die out in Chicago. You know what I mean? Brothers, who kind of, brought the ism to the, and put it on wax. You know what I'm saying? And so you can take it and apply it however you need to apply it. But those books, Dr. Claus Anderson books gives you a perfect picture on the economic side of the game to understand why we're broke, why we have, over $1 trillion of economic spending power, but why we don't own anything. We don't own anything or use it. We don't own or produce anything that everybody else wants. Everything that we love, we have to go to another group of people to get it. Like my brother talked about, you look in our communities, and they're not really communities because we don't really own or control anything in them. And Dr. Claude Anderson talks about that as well. But when you look in our communities, when you look in your city, I don't care where you are, DC, Atlanta, Chicago, LA, Houston, wherever you are, you go into a Black neighborhood, you know what I mean? Or you go into certain parts of town, Dr. Claude Anderson talks about, you're going to see a Chinatown, you're going to see a German town, you're going to see you're going to see a little Havana, you know what I mean? You're going to see all these different places. There's no little Africa. You know what I mean? There's no little Ghana, no little Senegal. There's no, little the Gambia, none of that. You know what I mean? There's no Black town. There's no Africa town. A part of the town, a part of the city that we own and operate, we control. It was only we really control in our communities is the barbershops and the hair salons. And even with that, we have to get loans from a white bank. You know what I mean? Most of us don't really bank Black either. You know what I mean? We have banks, shout out to Industrial Bank here in Washington, D.C., Black-owned bank that that I have accounts with. But so even the businesses that we own, we have to go outside of ourselves. We have to go to white banks to get money to even start these businesses. And if you know anything about Dr. Claude Anderson and what he talks about, you'll realize that, we go to these banks, our interest rates are high. We don't get approved for loans at the same rates other people do who come over here who really don't have any built up collateral in this country. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for us to get the loans, you know, to get the money to start these businesses up to benefit our people. So you look at those books, just on the relationship side of the game too. You know, our sister Shahrazad Ali, you know what I mean? You know, the Black woman's guide to understanding the Black man, the Black man's guide to understanding the Black woman. You know what I mean? I'm a huge proponent. I'm a huge supporter and advocate for the Black family. You know what I mean? I believe that is the foundation of a people, is the quality and the strength of their families. We could talk about economics. We could talk about code of conduct, all of these things. The reason why we don't have those things is because they haven't been instilled in us as children in a family with a father and you know, with a husband and a wife, you know, running that household. So we didn't get these lessons when we were kids. Where other groups, they grow up understanding the value of a code, of sticking together, of building each other up, of supporting each other economically. They were raised and taught how to do these things. Because our family structure has been off, we haven't been able to learn these things from childhood. So a lot of us, we're finding out late. We're finding out 30, 35 years old, if we find out at all, the value of a code of conduct, group economics, and all these types of things. So all those books my brother named are fire. They're all on Amazon. You go on Amazon, you look up Powernomics, you look up Black Labor, White Wealth. You just type in Claude Anderson. You type in Tariq Nasheed, you'll see their books. Y'all cop that, man. You know, it's very important. It'll do some good, straight up and down. So T, in your opinion, man, you know, based off all the things that we know, you know, that we talk about, that we've heard, you know, in these Black first streets, in your opinion, what's the biggest issue that we have in our community as Black people, in your opinion?
I would say before, we kind of alluded to it earlier. We talked about just people talk about we need to be unified and all together and kumbaya and things of that sort. But the thing is, no, like you said before, not everyone's going to agree to it. It is, like I said, the code of conduct. We don't, as a group, like I'm not talking about individuals like you and me and like 12 other brothers we might know, but of the 30 million or how many we got, we might have 20, 30 million different agendas from that. So that's the problem we've been having for the longest. However, I would say this B1 movement for the last decade or so, we started to get better, but this is something that's going to take, you know, generations, but it does start with us. Because right now I'm looking at almost like a prophet, almost seeing like the future in regards to what's going to be happening in the next 30 years. Like I said, I'm in my 30s. I have yet to have a family. I'm planning on having a Black family myself, for sure. But 30 years from now, it's going to be 2050. And they talk about all of these numbers. They talk about, you know, white people going to be the minority. And my thing is, I'm looking at what Black people 50 years from now, they saying we're going to have zero wealth. And right now, I think we at 0.001%. At the rate we're going to be the permanent beggar class. And the thing is, we got to start really, it's almost like we have to start from the ground up to a certain degree. I hate to say it, but we have to really, really practice these codes to, I mean, it's either do or die. You know what I'm saying? Like Poe Pippin, do or die, baby. That's where it's at right now. So we really have to really stress and push that. It's not even no longer a thought. This is a necessity. This is a means to survival right now. Because like you said, everyone else is galvanizing. They circling the wagon. More specifically, foundational Black Americans. We got to be on code. Because unfortunately, a lot of the Africans that have been brought the last 50 years or so, they've been off code. They've been cooning. But unfortunately, they feel like this is what they got to do to get that green card or to be on the good behavior side of the dominant society. So we got to understand, like I said, in the words of CMB, we all we got, bro. That's what we got. And that's what we got to do. We got to stand by it and live by it and die about that. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, you know, I always advocate, like I said earlier, I advocate the family. You know what I mean? I think that's the foundation. Because that's where we're supposed to get a lot of these lessons. You know what I mean? You're supposed to learn the value of, you know, taking care of your own, you know, building each other up, supporting one another. You know what I mean? A lot of that you get from your family. So that's where I focus my, you know, my energy. You know, being a young brother, you know, who's been married almost 15 years, you know, I think that's the uniqueness that I can bring, you know, to YouTube, is that, you can do it. You know what I mean? On the family side of the game, you could do it. You could be B1. You know what I mean? You could have a B1 wife, B1 children. You know what I mean? You could own your home. You could travel. You could do these things. You know what I mean? And there are obstacles that you're going to face along the way. But you can do it. You don't have to sell out. You know what I mean? You don't have to go against your own and do what is wrong in order to get ahead. And a lot of brothers who are out here who are on that train, who are out here cooning it up, they look around and their rationale is to say, look, well, black people haven't built nothing. You know what I mean? So if I want something, I gotta sell out. I gotta go over here, tap dance, and do all that. And the brothers on back home could be mad at me, but they haven't built anything there to sustain me financially. So I gotta go over here. I gotta sell out. I gotta talk about what about black on black crime. I gotta do that. You know what I'm saying? If I want, that's their mentality. That's their mindset. You know what I mean? And I can never ride with that. I can never support that. But I do understand it to a certain degree. We have to build up our own communities. We have to be people always we love Malcolm. I love Malcolm. He was one of my principal teachers. The autobiography of Malcolm X is one of my favorite books. I probably read it 10 times. But people love the way that Malcolm talked. He talked with so much power and aggression, and he didn't care about how people felt about what he said. He said what he said. He said, there are groups of people who are this, and they're devilish, and he had no, he didn't apologize for that. You know what I mean? He said what he said and he meant it. A lot of people love the fact that Malcolm was able to do that, but they don't really understand why he was able to do it. The reason why he was able to do it was because he was within a nation, and that nation could insulate him. Malcolm could wake up every day and go to businesses to sustain himself, and all of them were Muslim. All of them were owned and operated by the Nation of Islam. He wanted to get his hair cut. He wanted to get something to eat. He wanted to buy clothes. He wanted to go to a grocery store. All of these businesses around him that sustained him and his nation were owned and operated by the Nation of Islam. So he didn't need outsiders. He didn't have to go and buck dance and tap dance to other people to get things that he needed. He could get it within his own nation. So that's the strength of being economically sound and politically sound, is because when you can sustain yourself, it's like I tell people all the time, the way we're treated in America is like this. We're treated like we're a guest in somebody else's home. That's how we're treated. You got your own apartment, you got your own house. Somebody come live with you, a cousin, whatever, uncle, they fall on hard times, they come live with you. You know what I mean? They have to follow the rules and regulations of your house, whether they like it or not. You know what I mean? If you want lights out at 8:00, them lights is out. You know what I mean? I don't care that you 40 years old or you older than me or what money you used to have. You living in my house now. So you have to abide by my rules. You know what I mean? And if you don't like the rules in my house, then you get your own house. You know what I'm saying? So that's the mindset that we have to have as black people, is to say, look, the way this world is set up right now, we're in somebody else's home. So everything that we need or come across is controlled by somebody who don't look like us. It's controlled by somebody, for the most part, that don't even like you. You know what I'm saying? You got to go get food from somebody who don't like you. You got to go to the bank and get a loan for a business, for a car, for a home from somebody who don't like you. You know what I'm saying? So if I don't like you and you need me, I'm going to treat you how I want to treat you. And you have no choice but to accept it because you need me. That's the strength. That's the power that I have over you, is that you need me for something. So the day that you don't need me for something, that's the day you don't have to accept my garbage. You don't have to accept police brutality, and you don't have to accept being economically castrated, like Dr. Clark Anderson talks about, where he says in his books that even to this day, we own 0.5% of all the wealth in America, the same amount of wealth that we owned in the midst of the Civil War. So from the 1860s all the way to 2021, with all the money we have, with all the billionaires we have, with all the things that we do and all the money we make, we still own 0.5% of all of the wealth in America. And and power is related to ownership. I don't care how much money you have. If you don't own anything, you don't have any power. So the foundation is family for me. once we get the family structure right, we can raise our babies up right, and they can go out here to this world and make the right moves. Code of conduct, group economics, all of that stuff. And I've come to the, and it's sad, but I've come to the understanding that I'm not going to live to see it. You know what I mean? I'm just not. Like, we're that far off where I'm gonna die before we see it in mass within our people, in our community, where we understand, look, we gotta own stuff, man. We gotta own grocery stores, we gotta own businesses, we gotta own real estate, we gotta own property. We have to own all the things that it takes to sustain ourselves. Nobody goes in beauty supply stores but Black people, but we don't own them. You know what I mean? That's a billion. The beauty supply industry is $1 billion industry right there. No other group of people is going into these beauty supply stores to buy grease, to buy a pick, you know what I'm saying, to buy none of that stuff. We the only ones in there, and we own probably 2% of them all over the country. And it's $1 billion industry. We could have started right there. But but that's facts, man. That's powerful. So let me change topics a little bit. You in the A, man. You in Atlanta. Shout out to Atlanta. I got a lot of people that I love and respect who live in the A and in surrounding areas. What's the dating scene like for you, man? What's it like for you in Atlanta, young brother, you know what I mean? And, seeing all these women, trying to get one of them to, choose up on you, whatever you trying to choose up on. What's the pulse like? What's the energy like right now in Atlanta on the dating side of the game?
To be honest with you, bro, it's for me, I'm in a weird space because I'm a little bit older. Like I said, I'm in my 30s. So the game is totally different. I feel like it was a lot easier. I would say, I hate to say it, it seems like it's a little bit easier to be dusty, to get choose upon, to have your somewhat stuff together. I'm gonna be real with you, bro. Man, look, how many guys you didn't see they borrow their old lady's car while she working, and he riding around with it all day getting other breezes. But flip it. Let's say I'm the dude that got my own car, my own spot, and we can chill it. It's like, that's a problem. You know what I mean? It's like, unfortunately, it's like the whole, I would have to say it's a collective. I'm the pulse wise. I'm saying this group because I exclusively date sisters. All right, that's where I'm at. So the sisters here in the A, they're different because they got these jobs and these careers. And it's like, basically, I'm just the accessory. I'm not the needed thing to be a man. Like, that is to protect, provide, and lead. But if you feel like you got these dollars from these, from the dominant society, why I gotta listen to you for? I got this good mid-management position. I'm gonna be okay with them, even though they work you like a dog and treat you less than human. They don't treat you like a woman. But oftentimes they rather deal with that situation than to, be led or, be accountable by their own. So in a weird way, I know back in the day, like I said, I was too young. I would say the females were much more sweeter, much more cooperative. But when it gets here, it's like it's a little different. Now it could be my circles. I'll be honest with you. It could be my circles I'm seeing, but just from my observation, like it seemingly it's easier to be dusty to get some of these breezies that to take care of you than to get some of these, than to actually have your stuff together to make some demands. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird though. It's kind of weird. It's changed up a little bit. So I'm be honest with you. So we can do better. Definitely can do better.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. Shout out to the Georgia Peaches, man. But I do feel what my brother's saying. Like I said, I'm out the game. I'm a square right now. You know what I'm saying? I've been married for 15 years, but I do keep my ear to the ground. I keep my hand on the pulse of what's going on out here. And what my brother's saying is right and exact. He's right. I think when you see things like that, it's because a lot of people, when you get with somebody who's thorough, when a woman gets with a thorough brother who's about his paper, who's cultured, who's intelligent, who's not really going to take any type of mess, there's a certain level of responsibility that woman has to have. And a lot of times when women deal with dusties, it's just really because they're shunning that responsibility, or subconsciously what they're saying is that, they don't qualify for that type of guy. You know what I mean? Like he's just not, he's going to bring too much out of them, and they're vulnerable and they're scared and they don't want to feel, exposed and naked like that. So they'll go with somebody that they don't really have to do that much work for. You know what I mean? Regardless of if it doesn't work, you know, he's always the scapegoat. Well, look at him. He didn't have no job. He drove my car, whatever. But, you know, when you get with a guy who's thorough, it requires a woman to be thorough. You know what I mean? She can't play the same games that she plays on a dusty. You know what I mean? A brother who's on point is not going to tolerate that. And so a lot of people, even and guys too, you know, guys who do that, you know, who date women who aren't thorough, you know, they do the same things because they understand that when you get with a certain type of woman, you know, there are responsibilities that you have to, you know, step up to the plate and handle. You know what I mean? And if you get you a female that's kind of sloppy and, you know what I mean, she, you know, she out of pocket and things like that. You understand what I'm saying? You know, it doesn't really require him to be the man that he's supposed to be. So a lot of it, man, is just people just ducking and dodging duty and responsibility. And so it's a cop out. It's low hanging fruit. You know what I mean? And they diminish the value of men by saying, hey, look, I got this job, I got this money, you know what I mean? I got this title, I went to this school, I got this degree, you know what I mean? I don't really need you like that. The only thing I need you for is one thing, and I can pretty much get that from anywhere. So I can get it from you now, but I can get it from somebody else next week, next month. You know what I mean? So you become expendable. You know what I mean? And in our communities, like we talked about with the family, we've diminished the value of men. You know what I mean? We've diminished the value of strong, masculine, play no games, about their business, 10 toes down in the game brothers. We've diminished their value. You know what I mean? Our community has been convinced that those brothers aren't necessary anymore. You know what I mean? So you can get whatever you want without having to deal with brothers like that. And we've also diminished the value of the feminine woman. You know what I mean? So, you know, so now it's everybody, on the female side of the game, it's all about being the boss. You know what I mean? You can do everything. You can run a business. You can do this. You can do that. You can have a child. You know, you don't need to be married. You don't need to be in a functioning relationship, in a healthy relationship. You can get whatever you want out here in these streets without that. You don't need it. And so what we don't understand is that the people who are telling you that, they don't live like that. You know, they're telling you to do that, and then they're going home to their husbands and wives and building families and passing down generational wealth and all of that. You know, while they're telling you that you don't need to do that you're above that. You know what I mean? So absolutely, man. You know, and what you said about that, man, about about what you're seeing down there, that's happening all over the place, man. Here in DC, New York, everywhere, man. You know, people are really having a hard time, you know, finding what they want in the dating game, man. You know what I'm saying? And in any community, you'll see some people in our community too, in that B1 community. Like, you think they on point. You know what I mean? When you see them on YouTube or you see them on Facebook and stuff, you think they on point, and then you meet them. It's like, wow, she ain't nothing like I thought she was. You know what I mean? I thought she understood the value of the man, and, you know, and cooperating and all that, complimenting and all that stuff. And that ain't really what I'm seeing when I ran up on them. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So I feel that.
Preach.
Yeah.
I kind of went through that with a couple of them, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm hip. You didn't have to say that, because you would think, honestly, like, in our community, you would think, like, okay, if you a single brother and you in this Black first community, you know what I mean? You going to these conferences and you building a networking, you would think, like, yo, there's a lot of women in here. So I should be able to find one, you know, like one good one, you know what I mean, in Atlanta, wherever. You know, Tariq come to Atlanta, it's packed, it's hundreds of people, thousands of people there showing love, networking, building. Yo, I should be able to find a good one, man, a good sister, you know, who with it. You understand what I'm saying? But, you know, it's not always the case, man. It's, you know, even in our community, it's not.
It's the bottom line, man. Some gonna be on something else, unfortunately. Like, the biggest thing for me, honestly, like I said before, like, I feel like, to me, is respect, that relationship down there. Some people might misconstrue that as misogyny and all that. I'll be okay, but I just feel like there is a temperament, respect, that how you engage with a man than a male. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm having, even though I am tall and I do 6'1", 200, I guess maybe because the face, I do have a baby face. I'm not gonna lie to you. The beard game ain't what it is, bro. It is what it is.
Right.
Little whiskers, that's what's happening right now. Team with, but I don't know. But I just feel like, because oftentimes, I guess my demeanor is cool and calm and laid back. It's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
some people might see that to exploit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm a kind of person that's genuine. Like a lot of folks in Atlanta, talking about real native ATLians that understand, like, one of the things we do have, I would love to say about my city, is it's not full of haters. We show love to anyone and everybody. As long as they're doing something constructive and building things up, we all support, not just in the music industry, just in any business endeavors that we do. So
Mm-hmm.
when I feel like I show that love, that I show that A-Town love, as I like to call it. I'm from the East, same thing on the West Side and South Side. But we show you that love, and that love's not being reciprocated. Oh, you seem that you're soft or weak. And these are coming from so-called females, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like, oh, this is the thing to play around with. You know what I mean? So that right there kind of throw me off from my psyche standpoint. You dig? So I feel you. It's pain. It's pain because it's your own. It's your reflection. But this is what you got going on out here, bro.
Yeah, man. And I can see that too. People look at my brother and say, "Okay, he got the baby face." You know what I mean? He's somebody that I can finesse. Nah, you know what I mean? You can't finesse my brother like that, man. You know what I mean? But even in our community too, man, we have people that aren't authentic. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get people in there trying to just, hustle finesse. They ain't here because it's a market. I can sell something, I can make some money, I can rub elbows with certain people. You know what I mean? And that's cool. We're here to network and build and add on, you know what I mean? But, be authentic too. You know what I mean? We see a lot of people that, come in and try to use our talking points in our name and try to finesse it. And then they turn out to be frauds and agents and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be careful too, even in our community. You can't let your guard down. You know what I mean? And when you see something and if it looks like finessing, if it smells like finessing, it's finessing. You know what I mean? And that's a part of the game. That's a part of the game that me and my bro were raised in, man. You don't take nothing off nobody. No woman, no nothing. You know what I mean? That's what the game taught me. You know what I mean? You understand what you want, what you feel like you're worth, and you go out here and get it. And if they're not willing to give it to you, you know what I mean? They can't finesse me. You know what I mean? I'm just not gonna be finessed, period. My brother's not either, straight up. So, we always hear this conversation about reparations in our community. You know what I mean? Talking about reparations, we deserve them, we should get them, we're tired of waiting for them, all of that. So I just wanted to ask you, what do you think about reparations and how do you think, we should move if and or when the time comes, if we're able to get them?
I feel like that's the number one most important issue that we have in regards to our situation right now. I definitely agree with brother Jason Black, the Black Authority, in this regard that the reason why the system or a system of racism, white supremacy, excuse me, tongue tied right now, the system of racism, white supremacy is the economics. It's rooted in that. So yeah, they be like you said before, they hate us. Yeah, they hate us. Yeah, they hate us because of our skin color, but they can punish us due to their economics.
Mm-hmm.
The reason how did they get their economics? Like honestly, like because I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought I did have I would say dare I say an inferiority complex. I felt like I had to go 10 times hard body to my white counterparts to be up to par. But when come to find out, we actually be with these people in Diamond Society, they dumb as a rock. It's like, how did you get so far along? And I had to really bust my tail to get here. The reason why, because he was inherent with that. Now, there are some advantages that we go hard. We're actually much more thorough and know what we're doing. But understand this, because he has the economics fortitude afforded to him through the connections of 500 years of oppression and slavery and economics built upon that, that's why they're able to get ahead as a group. If you look at stories like what it be the cheating scandal for colleges, for example, out there in LA and UCLA or whatever, the USC or whatever, you had that situation. I always knew that was an underground thing for a long time, but that actually put it out in blast because we always seen that. So back to what I was saying, the reason why these people are ahead of us because of our labor, the resource that we put into this country, building it from the ground up as Foundation Black Americans. That didn't stop with just that generation. That wealth was passed on to anyone that's classified as whites from generation to generation to generation. On the flip side, we as Black people, due to the oppression, the subjugation and oppression, things of that sort, that poverty was passed on from generation to generation to what we have currently now as a group. That's the reason why we're so broke. That's the reason why we're so poor. So in order to rectify a systemic policy that's ongoing to this day, it didn't just stop in Jim Crow like some people like to make it out to be. That wealth was robbed and given to them. So the right thing to do is to make reparation based upon that. Now, Dr. Claude Edger makes a perfect, book, like hundreds of pages on it. But basically in 3 words, like I said before, I forgot who said it, but I'm just paraphrasing. They sold us. They stole us. Now they owe us. Simple. Pay what you owe. It's like it's a debt that you owe. Pay for it and make it right. So that's my thing. I'm not begging. This is not a charitable. This is not altruistic. This is what you owe. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm about to flip the phone. I'm about to go to church right now. I'm about to flip the phone, but no. But you pay what you owe, bro. This is what you owe. So I don't care how you feel about that. If it's unjust, look. If you continue to produce this injustice, in the words of Nick Philly, it's gonna be a cost for that, and it's gonna keep adding up. So I suggest you, sir, ma'am, if you're really concerned about our Black situation, and I'm talking in particular in the dominant society, everyone else exploited it. This is what you owe. Point blank. Period. That's what it is. So it's gonna have to happen because this is the only thing that's really said that's putting it so far back is due to a lack of economics. And that economics was stolen from us from the last 500 years or so, ongoing to this day.
Right. Malcolm X said that, basically he painted this picture and he said, look, white America, the dominant society, has taken a knife, a 9-inch knife, and they've stuck it in our back. They stabbed us with this 9-inch long knife. And then they have said, and to heal that, to make it right from what you did, you can't just pull that knife back out 3 inches. Mm-hmm. You can't just pull that knife completely out of my back. What you have to do is you have to pull that knife out and you have to heal that wound. And he said, and Malcolm said that the dominant society won't even admit to stabbing us in the first place. Understand what I'm saying? So, what you said is right and exact. There can be no freedom. There can truly be no equality and justice in this country until the wealth is redistributed. Until Black people receive reparations for the atrocities that we faced. And I don't know what that amount is. There's no dollar amount you could put on it. It's just not. For the thousands, the millions of Black lives that lost their lives, the amount of Black people in this country who were born, lived 80, 90 years and died and never took a breath of free air in their life. There's no amount of money that you could put on that. I just saw a video somebody sent me from a brother from my home state of North Carolina. He was locked up, wrongfully accused, and he just got released. He's like in his 60s, and he spent, 30 upwards to 30, 40 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. And they gave him $750,000. And he was like, 750,000 times, the amount of years that I've been in jail, that's less than minimum wage. And even if you gave me minimum wage, what price can you put on my life? The years that I missed, my father and my mother, dying and being buried, and I couldn't spend time with them. My children, my wife or my girlfriend, whatever, the time I lost, that I couldn't be with them, where they had to move on. What amount of money is reasonable? That amount of money is not reasonable. And so we have to get to, reparations are needed. We have to have them. I'm tired of these cats. A lot of Black folks too talking about, well, you ain't gonna never get them, or what we gonna do when we get it. We don't know. We just gonna give it right back. Like, I don't care. Give it to me first. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what to do with it. But there can be no rectifying or even a beginning to make amends in this country until some money is passed along. Like my brother said, I grew up in that. I grew up with a poor, when you don't have money, a lot of times you grew up with a defeated mindset. Like when I was a kid growing up, majority of my life, we grew up in the projects. And I remember, we would go to my junior high school was in a very affluent neighborhood in North Carolina. Anybody knows anything about Raleigh? I grew up on the south side of Raleigh. Trust me, that's the south side in every city. There's a Martin Luther King Avenue in every city, and they all hood. You know what I mean? And so I grew up on the south side of Raleigh, and there's a lot of projects over there. I had family in all of them. And so, my junior high school or my middle school, we used to go to this upper middle class neighborhood in Raleigh, like right by Crabtree, Oberlin Road, Daniels Middle School. They changed the name now, I saw. But we used to we used to ride to school in these buses, and I would, you would get to this certain part of town, you see all these nice homes, and you would see all these white folks coming outside, and the husband got a suit on, briefcase, the kids running around, the wife got an apron on, she just made breakfast, all of that. You see these nice houses and nice cars, and I would literally tell myself every day when I would see this on the bus that that's how white people live. Like black people, we ain't supposed to live like that. I don't know nobody black who live like that. Like this is how white folks are supposed to live. And the way I live, that's the way black people are supposed to live. And so when I would grow up and I would be in certain spaces with people, I felt inferior until I got knowledge of self, till I got older and started reading and understanding who I was and where I came from. I would be in rooms with these people and feel inferior. And I'd be this, and like you said, you would rub elbows with these people. And some of them would dumb as a doorknob. I'm like, how you here? Where does money come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I would intellectually run circles around you. You know what I'm saying? About a plethora of topics, about, academically, politically, whatever. But you have the resources and I don't. So the knowledge that I have, it don't matter because I don't have any infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? As intelligent as I am, I still got to go to you for something. You know what I mean? I still have to go to you and ask you for something. Can I have this loan? Can I live in this neighborhood? You know what I mean? Can I get this or can I get that? You know what I mean? And that's a mentality that a lot of black people have. And so because we have this defeated mindset, because we grow up and we feel inferior, that's why we act dysfunctional. You know what I mean? Like it all stems from that. And it's economically based. When you have certain things, when you're a child, you're a white child, you grew up in school, you learn about Christopher Columbus and you learn about George Washington and you learn about all these famous white people who conquered. You learn about Alexander the Great and you learn about Hannibal. I mean, not Hannibal because Hannibal's a brother, but you learn about Napoleon. You know what I mean? You learn about all these people who conquered and built up the world. And I mean, that's what you're taught. That brings a sense of pride to white children. And you look around and you look in your textbook in school, you got one chapter on black people and it's about being slaves, being sold, being pushed around, being told what to do, where you can go, where you can use the bathroom, where you can eat. That brings a sense of inferiority to you. You know what I'm saying? So you come up out of that like, look, I can't compete. And if I think I can compete, I understand that I have to work 5 times harder just to be on the same level as them, just to be able to get in the door. I have to work 5 times harder than certain people. So reparations are important. We need them. I don't care what people say. And if we get them, when we get them, we have to build, certain infrastructure. We have to do things to make ourselves self-sufficient so that we don't have to depend on other people, so that we don't have to be subjected to certain types of treatment and disrespect, because we can go to our own spots, buy our own things from our own people, build ourselves up that way. Absolutely. So I got one more question for you, then we're going to wrap up. I know you've been going hard with me a little bit of, over an hour, around an hour and a half. Our brother Tariq, you know what I mean? B1 General, you know what I mean? Has a film coming out, I think at the end of this month, called Buck Breaking. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to get, your opinion about that, about the movie, what you think about it. And if you think there's an agenda, you know what I mean, in this country, in this world, to feminize black men.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, sir. I want to say, like I said, we grew up around the same era. Like, for instance, the most, I guess, macho or term, what they say, machismo or masculine, if you will, for better or worse, for a long time has been the black male. I would say particularly the black man here in this country, United States. If you look at our sports, our wrestling, our wrestlers were black. Our best athletes were black, but it'd be basketball. Dominique Wilkins from Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Shouts out to that brother. Michael Jordan, things of that sort. The best athletes were black. Football players. I mean, the best linebackers were black. Ray Lewis, running backs. I mean, Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders. You dig what I'm saying? Deion Sanders. You know what I mean? So we had all of these different persons that exemplify what's being tough and masculine and rough and things of that sort. Even from music, when it comes to the rap game, I would say hip hop. Rest in peace. You know, DMX. He was the epitome of what it is to be tough, rugged, raw, edgy, street. Like those synonyms I just described, those are actually from a standpoint for what masculinity was. You dig what I'm saying? So that being said, even brothers down south, like we had the gold grills, what it is. So we exemplify what it was to be masculine because we've been through stuff. You know what I'm saying? We had to go get it. You know what I'm saying? We got stand down here in the South. I would say Georgia particularly. We get out the mud. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. So we got that. So going to what he's saying, it seemed like that image people were uncomfortable, not because of us being black, but we exemplify what it is to be a man, you know, to be a macho without us even trying. You dig what I'm saying? So I would say from the last few years, they've been slowly and surely been inserting these different things to feminize. I remember one of the first things that threw me off was, I guess, let me say it, dare I say, when they started doing the earring thing. You know, at one time, I never had earrings. My dad did. My brothers did. At one time, the players would get it from left side, or if you get the right side, that means you're homosexual. But if you get both, that means you bi. You know what I'm saying? But then people that were straight was getting those. Then the next step was, okay, let's do this. Let's rock colors. Let's do pink. You know what I'm saying? Certain artists was rocking the pink colors. You know, and then it led to wearing skirts. You know what I'm saying? Like Kanye West would put out a skirt. You know, I'm like, what's going on? Like this is not masculine. So we fast forward now, 10 years later, we got guys out here literally busting it bussy for Satan. You know what I'm saying? Like it's right on time. So we got that going on. Then we got Kid Cudi wearing a damn sundress. You know what I'm saying? It would have been marvelous for a sister, but not for him. You know what I'm saying? So we got that going on. So of course it is. It's like they slowly but surely try to defeminize us in that regard because ladies, okay, again, man, I'm not saying men can't be sensitive, compassionate, understanding, but trust me, if he always like that, the last thing he's going to do is protect you. I'm telling you that right now. So you want a man that's be able to be ensured to do what he is his strength. That's what we strength physically wise. You know what I'm saying? Physically, mentally, but definitely physically, you want to be able to get that. So just understand it's very important. So I do believe by doing that, by feminization leads to, I'm gonna get in trouble for that, homosexuality. Like I said, I have nothing against the LGBT. Let's keep it real. If you got a male that's more feminized, more likely he's going to divulge into sexual activities again, which in essence defeats the whole purpose of families. You know what I'm saying? Because procreating is that, but if you don't procreate with other women and women that's not attracted to that, you're gonna lead to these ongoing confusion and chaos in that regard. So we understand we gotta look at everything for what it is. I mean, people smarter than me said it best. You know, Neely Foote mentioned it. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing talked about it extensively. A study as a psychologist, this is the mentality what's going on. So I stand by that based upon that. So I'm gonna speak the truth on that. So help me God.
True indeed, man. We didn't even talk about the ISIS papers, man. Shout out to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, you know what I mean? Warrior, scholar, master teacher, you know, who passed away a few years ago. She was here in Washington, D.C. as well. But, you know, yeah, I agree with my brother. I'm very excited. I'm very anxious to see the film. You know, my brother Tariq, you know, our brother Tariq, he always comes correct. You know what I mean? So I know it's going to be fire. I saw the preview for it. You know, we had Dr. Wesley Muhammad in there. You know, a few other brothers in there, powerful people in there that's going to drop gems. So I'm looking forward to it. I agree. I think there's a movement to, you know, in this country to feminize Black men. And don't get me wrong. That, you know, we've had LGBTQ brothers, you know, forever. You know what I mean? That's not going to stop. But, you know, and that's not the issue that I have. The issue is that, you know, they're being used. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they're being used, and a lot of them don't know it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, these movements and, you know, the money that's being poured into these movements and things like that, they're not benefiting Black people. You know what I mean? We talk, you know, Tariq talks about all the time, you know, the brother, I mean, well, he ain't no brother of mine, but the guy, Ed Buck, was out here, you know, killing all these homosexual brothers, you know, luring them to his house, killing them. You know what I mean? Nobody picked that up. Nobody ran with that. Nobody was crying about justice and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And so you see it's incentivized, like, you know, Kid Cudi, you know, wearing a sundress, man. It's not, sundress season ain't for you. You know what I mean? There's a whole, that's a woman thing, man. Sundress season is woman season. It's woman time. You know what I mean? So I know my wife just asked me, just text me. The rapper's name is Kid Cudi, Kid Cudi, Cudi. You know, he's a rapper, kind of a newer age rapper. And he was performing on TV, and he performed in a sundress. You know what I mean? And you know, you had the Lil Nas X, you know, did this video. He busting it wide open. You know what I mean? You know, he goes down into hell, and he's sitting on the devil's lap, and he's busting it wide open. You know what I mean? And then he came out with a shoe line, you know, with some Nikes, you know, the 666s, the Satan joints, you know what I mean? And then Nike had to come out and walk that back, because they were like, you know, I don't know why they didn't anticipate, you know, people going crazy, you know what I mean, about him dropping shoes that, you know, 666 is the Satan. So whatever. I mean, I don't look, we ain't that far gone. You can just throw Satans up at the Foot Locker, and, you know, and people are going to be cool with that. You know what I'm saying? But there are a lot of things going on, and it's being incentivized. Like my bro said, I remember when Michael Sam came out, football player, played at the University of Missouri. He came out right before the draft, said he was gay. You know what I mean? I'm gay. I love men, whatever. I got a boyfriend. That's just who I am. And I remember he got drafted in the 7th round. He got drafted by the Rams, I think. And they showed him on TV. You know, he kissed his boyfriend in the mouth, you know, tongued him down, all that on TV. And I remember after that, they said that he got a call from the president. He got a call from Barack Obama. You know what I mean? Not because he saved, you know, some elderly woman, you know, not that some little kid got shot and he, you know, resuscitated the child, gave him CPR, took the child to the hospital, saved somebody's life. Not that he, you know, somebody tried to shoot a politician and he dove in the way and took the bullet. Not for none of that. He didn't get a call for that. He got a call because he came out and said, look, I'm gay and I have a man in my bedroom that I do sexual things with. And that was enough for the president of the United States of America, for the president of the most powerful man on the planet. That was enough for him, right? And his boyfriend was white, but that was enough for him to get a call from the president. But I remember Trayvon Martin's family said, look, President Obama didn't give us no call. You know what I mean? He didn't give us no call. We didn't get that. You know what I'm saying? But Michael Sam got it. Not because he did something spectacular, but just because he came out and openly said the type of person that he's intimate with in his bedroom. You know what I'm saying? So if that don't incentivize people to say, hey, look, I can come out, I get a call from the president. I can come out, you know, I can get on TV. You know, I can get a TV deal. I can get a book deal. I can get money. I can, you know, people want to know who I am. You know what I mean? It's incentivized. And so a lot of us, you know, we've been beaten down so much as a people that we're trying to look for some refuge. Mm-hmm. And so I had gay brothers who come to me and be like, yo, Frank, you know, a lot of these cats who use this movement, like they're not even gay. It's a fad for them. You know what I mean? Like for some people, that's really their life. Like they really live it. They took them ass whoopings. They took people looking at them funny, all of that. But some people are like, look, yo, like these guys over here, like they're playing. They're using it because they think it's cute. They're getting the perks of it. And that's not really who they are. They're playing, they're finessing. And so because we've been beaten down so much, a lot of us are looking for these beatings to stop. And if I got to throw a dress on, if that's going to put me in a certain room, if that's going to give me a certain bag, if that's going to stop. Now, we know that it ain't going to stop nothing. We seen videos like Flex brought out one time where the brother who was gay got put over by the police, and he started acting all feminine and thought that was going to stop the police from slamming him like a grown man. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't. So, for people who do that, understand that's not going to get you out of. You can't sex your way out of white supremacy. You know what I mean? You can't do it. You can't. Your sexuality don't matter. Nobody looked at you. Nobody looked at us on those ships when they came to the shores of Africa. Nobody looked at you and said, "Okay, you, who do you sleep with? Oh, you're gay. Oh, you can go back. You can go back to your tribe. You know what I mean? You can. We don't need you. You know what I mean? No. Oh, you're what? You're a Christian. You an AME. Okay, you can go back too. We don't. No. They have waged war on your melanin. They don't care about who you sleep with. They don't care about your political affiliation. They don't care about, what school you went to, what fraternity you pledged, what sorority you pledged, what organization you're into. They don't care. Your melanin is the opposition. Your melanin is the enemy that identifies you. And nothing else matters. And so I'm looking forward, man, to seeing this movie. He hasn't really dropped anything yet about how you can stream it or whatever, but I'm looking forward to it. It should come out in a couple of weeks, I believe. So so it's dope. I'm looking forward to it. I know it's gonna be fire. I'm gonna reach out to you probably, you know what I mean? I'm gonna hit you on the DM and ask you what you think about it when it first came out. Maybe we'll come back, with a few other, Black First family and kind of break it down and talk about the movie and talk about, some of the things we saw and all that good stuff. Maybe, I may slide, I may put some money out there and give somebody a gift, buy it for them and send it to them as a gift. So we could probably come back and do a show like that. But that's all I have for my brother, man. But let the people know how they can get into contact with you. I know you said you were starting your business and all of that. So, if that's popping off, if that's ready, for the people to know what time it is, kind of put that information out there, let the people know what you're doing and how they can find you.
Yes, sir. The name of my apparel line is called That Work. So yeah, that's basically a theme for what I've been doing for the last year or so. I've been putting that work to get the results that we got. So I'm a believer in that. This is actually my shirt right here. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's basically say the home team has always put in that work. Basically a Black man out here in the fields, working it and, plowing the fields and reaping the results from that. So that's my first shirt. Right now you can DM me at Instagram. It's called That Workwear. On Instagram. Also, my main page is B1_BJ on Instagram. My Facebook is my official name, Tom Terry III. So you definitely gonna see me. I'm the only Black man that's suited and booted, so you can't miss me at all. Straight up. So I'm on there. So those are things you can reach me. So if those products, either way, you can DM me or email me. Right now, currently working on the website. It's early stages, but that's where it's at in a nutshell.
That's where it's at, man. Support Black businesses, man. This shirt I'm wearing right now, sister on Facebook, was making these shirts. And I said, I got to support, because we the only ones that's going to support us. You know what I'm saying? So when the time come, I'm definitely going to cop that shirt, And I'm going to rock it on the show. And I just want to, just give my brother some love, man. Just tell you to your face that I love what you're doing. I love how you moving. I love how you thinking. You know what I mean? I respect you, man. And you got a brother in me. You know what I mean? You ever come to DC, I'm going to show you. You come up here, man. I'm going to show you what that mumbo sauce about. You know what I mean? I'm going to show you. I know you. You know what I mean? I know we trying to get slim. You know what I mean? But but whatever you do eat, you know what I mean? If it's within your, in your intermittent fasting eating regiment, you know what I mean? Mine too. I got to get better, man. My wife going. She keeping me sharp with the food and making sure I'm eating right and stuff like that. But whenever you come to DC, man, you look me up. I got you, man. Dinner's on me. That's on the house. That's on Frank. I got you. You know what I mean? So come through. You know what I mean? I pull up on you. It is what it is. I'm gonna be down there too in Atlanta. Columbus Day weekend. I got to go down there for a wedding. You know what I mean? Sister of mine, that I actually met in these YouTube streets. She's getting married. She lives in Atlanta. Okay. And so I'm going down there, You know what I mean? Me and my wife, we're gonna go down there for the weekend. So when I touch down, when it gets close to that, man, I'll reach out to you. I'll slide you my cell. And then, you know, if you got some time or whatever, we kind of slide off, get, you know, just chop it up a little bit or something. You know what I mean? While I'm down there. But I'm definitely gonna be down there in the A in October, the weekend of Columbus Day.
All right,
That long weekend.
like I said, I'll take that title for Jermaine Dupri. I'll be the mayor. I'll take it. So anytime, like I said, you got fam here too. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, a player from the A, you know, player from the DMV, and we can make it do what it do. So it's like we cousins anyway. You know, as far as I'm concerned, we Southerners from one side to another. Know what it is.
For sure. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, so again, my brother, man, I just want to, you know, thank you again for coming on. I want to thank everybody, man, everybody for listening. You know, I got a lot of super chats. I got a lot of cash apps, a lot of support, you know, in the comments and all of that, man. I love y'all. You know what I mean? You know, this channel is what it is because of y'all. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what conversations I have, who I have on, you know, to show love to or chop it up with. It's nothing if y'all don't come through, support, check us out, comment, like, share, you know, and contribute, you know, however you feel led to contribute. So I want to thank y'all for that. Y'all know I do my shows every Tuesday, usually 8:30. You know, I pushed it back 30 minutes for my brother, you know, so we can be on point with the scheduling. But typically I do my shows every Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week, I don't know if my sister Sasha's still in here, but you know, we had a very interesting topic on Clubhouse. And I put it on YouTube, on Facebook as well, and that post got jumping. So I'm probably do a show on that next week. The topic of the show next week is going to be, can you really be ready to be a parent if you're not ready to be a spouse? You know what I mean? So we're gonna break that down next Tuesday. I might even open up the floor, have some guests come on to talk about that. Can you really be ready to be a parent if you're not ready to be a spouse? We're going to talk about that next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So on that note, man, I just want to say, let me run through everything real quick. So obviously, like, comment, support, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Share it if you feel led to do that. For the people who've already contributed, you know what I mean? Caught my bro shirt. I'm going in. I'm gonna get one. You know what I mean? Straight up and down. I might, I don't know if whatever colors we have, whatever the assortment is, I'm gonna cop one straight up. Mm-hmm. If you want to support the channel financially, you could do that on Cash App. I am monetized now, so you saw the super chats out there. But if you didn't super chat, you want to contribute via Cash App or PayPal, I have both of those. cashapp.me/ViewFromManCave, and I'm on PayPal as well. PayPal. .me/ViewFromManCave. So if you have any questions for me, any comments, you can email me, Frank J. Rivers. That's the government name, frankjrivers@gmail.com. You can reach out to me for questions, comments, for consultations. I do those. I have a mentoring service that I just started, for young brothers, high school, preferably junior high school age brothers. I started a mentoring service for that. So I have some brothers that have reached out to me saying, their parents as well, saying, Frank, you're a good brother. I would like, for you to mentor me, kind of school me on some certain things. So, shout out to one of the brothers that I have. I just started with him. He's out in New Orleans, good brother, young, on point. And so I started that as well. So if you're interested in that, you can email me as well. We could talk rates, we could talk scheduling, all that good stuff. So we can do that as well. Follow me, man. I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook, obviously, Frank Rivers. You search me on my government name. You search me, View from the Man Cave on Facebook. I will appear. I'm on Instagram as well, View from the Man Cave, and I'm on Twitter, View from Man Cave. So no the on Twitter, and I'm on Clubhouse as well. If you have an iPhone, you want Clubhouse. I'm on there as well. You can just search Frank Rivers. I'll pull up on you. And then you could, follow the kid. We have great discussions in our rooms. So just come through, tap in, and we can grow, we can learn, we can build together. So on that note, man, I just want to say good night. I want to thank y'all again for coming through. I appreciate it. I respect it. I love y'all for that. So y'all be safe, man. We're still in the pandemic, man. Wash your hands, keep your mask on, stay 6 feet away from people. You know what I mean? And on that note, y'all be easy. One.
The powers of alchemy.
Oh, you still on? No doubt, bro. No doubt, family. All right. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Oh yeah, here's my text, bro. Let me get that right now.
The powers of alchemy.